Passport Mommy with Michelle Jerson is a show about the journey of motherhood. Joining you on your greatest adventure, here's Michelle Jerson, the Passport Mommy.
Welcome to the show. I am so excited to have with me today Naomi Kelman. She is the CEO and president of Willow. Now, if you are a nursing mom or you have been a nursing mom, you know what a pain pumping can be. I have to say that I'm still nursing my daughter. She's 22 months old, but I was thrilled to give up pumping at about a little over a year. But that's because I did not have a pump like the one that Naomi has invented. So Naomi, thank you for being on the show with me today.
Thrilled to be here, Michelle. Thank you. And I appreciate you sharing your personal story as well about pumping.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I love nursing my daughter, and I always felt very good that I was able to nurse and pump. You know, a lot of women, they have difficulty for whatever reason. And a lot of women, they find that when they go back to work, it is just prohibitive to pump all the time because a lot of times you're glued to the outlet and it's really hard to just keep up with it. But that is where you and Willow came in. So tell me a little bit about you and your background.
So my background is I'm the oldest of four girls, and I've always focused on developing products for women. You know, I have a personal passion and commitment for helping women to lead the lives they want to lead. And so creating things that makes life easier, happier, more joyful is what I've always been about. And that's really what drew me to Willow, is really stories like yourself where, you know, you want to be able to provide for your baby, be able to pump for your baby, but using a traditional pump was so difficult. A lot of women sort of were forced to make the choice to stop. And that's just not something that I can support. And so creating Willow has been probably one of the biggest joys of my life.
That's wonderful. So for people who are not familiar with Willow, give us the rundown of exactly what it is and how it differs from other traditional pumps on the market.
So Willow is the world's first wearable breast pump. It's an all-in-one. And by wearable, we mean that all the pieces come together and you tuck it into your bra and off you go to lead the life that you want to lead. You're complete, unlike a traditional breast pump where you have dangling baby bottles hanging off your breast. You have to take your clothes off. You have lots of tubes and cords and you're plugged into a wall. Willow really gives you the ability to break out of the bunker of a supply closet and be able to do the things you want to do during the day without stopping to pump. You know, at Willow, we really didn't want women to have to make that hard choice about pumping and supporting their baby with breast milk versus doing other things. We wanted to give women the flexibility to pump and get on with life. And that's why we created it, to give moms mobility and their hands back.
Yes, which is absolutely incredible because even as a mom who's staying at home for the first 3 months or longer of her baby's life, I felt that first I'm nursing for a half an hour, then I'm pumping for another 45 minutes, and then about a half an hour later, I'm on repeat again. And I really could get nothing else done. And the pump I had was great, but I was plugged into the wall and I couldn't do anything else. And I thought, man, if I could at least wash the dishes or do something while I'm pumping.
Exactly. We wanted you to be able to, spend time with your baby. A lot of women have older children that they want to be able to play with. You know, we wanted you to have the flexibility to lead the life that you wanted to lead. And it's funny, you mentioned about how much time it takes. We actually did a quick calculation and figured that if a mom were to breast pump with a traditional pump for a year, and you have to stop what you're doing, that's 240 hours out of your life dedicated to pumping. You know, and really the goal for women is to provide breast milk for their baby, but you want to live your life. And many women, do have to go back to work. And oftentimes that's a time when women feel like they're forced to stop pumping because not all women have a private environment where they can take their clothes off and use a traditional pump. And not all women have a break time that they can separate out. So about 50% of women feel like they have to stop breastfeeding and breast pumping when they go back to work. At Willow, our goal was really to put the choice back in every mom's hands and really deal with those real life issues that moms are facing. And part of that is getting out of supply closets and getting out of public restrooms to make this hard choice.
Right. And I have to tell you, just from personal experience, at the time when I was pumping, I was working at a television station where there is no privacy, there are no breaks, and you're on every few minutes for 8 hours. And so I shared a studio with I was a traffic reporter with a weather forecaster who was a man. And I just said, hey, excuse me, I'm just going to have to do what I have to do. And I just had to live with it. But you know what? A lot of women don't want to and shouldn't have to do that.
That's right. And even when you were putting it on in that situation, one of the things too is that it's not a discrete situation where, you're clothed and it's quiet. One of the beauties of Willow is that you simply tuck it into the clothes that you're wearing and turn it on. And it's super quiet. It's easy to do a conference call or to have a meeting, with other people, depending on what you're comfortable with. You should be able to not have to make the choice and not have to have that embarrassment, to be able to pump of the sound, or taking your clothes off or worrying about, do I have a place to even plug in?
Exactly. Well, I have to tell you, I cannot wait to try the Willow again on the next baby because, again, my line of work, radio, that was another thing. I would sit with my pump and I would have to shut it off every time I had to go back on the air. And then eventually I just let it go. And I thought, I know that their audience is going to be hearing the motor. So all these things are such valid concerns. And I'm just thrilled to try the Willow. Now, I know you just came out with a Willow 2.0. How does this differ from the original Willow?
Yes, so we're Willow 2.0, which is going to actually begin shipping February 15th. We're very excited about it. There's a couple of things that are really breakthrough and new about it. The first is that it really gives moms total leak-proof mobility. Unlike other pumps that are on the marketplace or coming on the marketplace, Willow continuously latches on the mom's body. And that means that by keeping a continuous latch like your baby does, you can literally move in any position and Willow is not going to leak. So you can lean back if you wanted to, sit on a couch and do something. You could bend over to pick something up off the floor. You could move around and play with your other child. You could do a radio interview if you wanted to. And Willow really provides that leak-proof mobility, which is so important because moms work so hard to get every drop, and that's so critical. You don't want to lose any of it, which is really important. The other thing that's different about Willow 2.0 is that it's faster and easier to use. So I'll try to create a visual picture for you of Willow has a clear flange that you put on your breast and you orient your breast, into the flange. And then we have a new quick snap closure where you bring the pump just right onto that flange on your breast. It attaches, and that's all you need to do to get going with Willow, which is really fantastic. And this new clear flange also allows you it has a peek-through window that lets mom see that the milk is flowing. And you can sort of see how that's filling up. And also, the other thing that's fantastic about Willow is it's connected automatically to an app. So there's, a lot of times with apps, you have to keep a diary or input data on your own. They're there to have information, but you have to do a lot of work for it. With Willow, what's really fantastic is the pumps automatically feed data to your app for you in real time. So, and we assume that moms pump with one on the right side, one on the left side, and the app can keep track of how many minutes you're pumping, how much volume you've pumped. And then when you're finished, it'll also keep track for you of your history. So you have a sense of how much you've pumped and can look at sort of your own history over time. So that way you don't have to worry about keeping track of your milk. Willow does that automatically for you and keeps track of things.
That's terrific. And I know that comes in handy a lot because number one, I like that see-through option because you do want to monitor and make sure you're getting everything that you need to get. And then also, like you said, it makes it easy to keep track of it. Now, how do you take it out when it's done pumping?
So when it's done pumping, Willow will be inside your bra. So you unsnap your nursing bra and you just put your finger in between Willow and your breast that breaks the latch. And then you just simply lean it forward and take it off, and everything is self-contained inside a spill-proof bag. What's really great about the bag is that it retains all of the milk. There's no leakage from the bag, and you can pop it either into the fridge or freezer if you want, or you can pour it directly into a bottle. So that adds another piece of mobility for Willow that's great. Sometimes people are traveling, you're on an airplane, you don't have the time or the ability to clean and deal with a lot of messy parts.
Right.
Willow has only a few parts, to clean, only 2 parts to clean, and you can pop them in the dishwasher. And we have a disposable spill-proof milk bag. So each time you use Willow, you put in a fresh bag, and you don't need to worry about, oh my God, how do I empty a container? What do I do? You can just go ahead and put that right in your cooler or your refrigerator.
Perfect. Naomi, thank you so much for joining me today. Like I said, cannot wait to use the Willow and the Willow 2.0. Where can people go for more information, to read more about the Willow and to order theirs?
So people can find more information and they can order at willowpump.com. And we're taking pre-orders right now for our Gen 2.0 that's going to start shipping on February 15th. And we're really just thrilled to bring it to the world and to help moms to be successful in their breastfeeding journeys.
Great. Well, thank you. I thank you personally for inventing Willow. And I know it is an extremely helpful product for so many moms out there and really encourages nursing and pumping. Naomi, thank you so much for joining me today. It was Naomi Kelman, again, President and CEO of Willow. Coming up next, we're going to talk with the founder of KidMoto. It is a transportation system that helps little kiddies get to and from the airport from New York City and soon expanding to other cities nationwide.
Passport Mommy with Michelle Jerson. Passport Mommy with Michelle Jerson is a show about the journey of motherhood. Joining you on your greatest adventure, here's Michelle Jerson, the Passport Mommy.
One of the things about traveling, which I think a lot of people leave for the last minute, is how they're going to get to and from the airport. And when you have little ones, that adds a whole nother dimension to the story. And I have to tell you that I have tried to hire car services to take me and my little girl to the airport. And it has always been a little bit of a disaster. Sometimes they don't come with the right car seats. Sometimes they don't come with a car seat at all. And so when I found KidMoto, I was thrilled because I had such a great experience with them. So on the phone with me, I have Nelson Nigel. He is the founder of KidMoto. Nelson, thank you so much for joining me today.
Hey, you're welcome. I'm glad to be on. Thank you.
Sure. So tell me a little bit about your background because it's very impressive.
I'm just an entrepreneur, Michelle. I just like building businesses.
Apparently, because you've had quite a few.
Yeah. I like building businesses. I like building meaningful businesses which solves problems. And I think KidMoto is on target. We love what we do, and it's providing a real valuable solution.
Yeah, it really is. So tell me a little bit about KidMoto. Right now, you provide car service transportation in the New York City area, but you're soon expanding to other markets. So tell me about the market you're expanding to, but also that people can book from anywhere in the world if they're coming to New York.
Yes. So we have passengers coming in from Auckland, New Zealand to Perth or, I don't know, Oslo and Stockholm, etc. Right? So folks are finding us all over the world. The app works globally. And this is for generally it's for travelers traveling to New York City or and abroad and outside of New York City. So we're moving into the Philadelphia market. We're going to Washington, D.C., Charlotte, Austin, and Orlando in 2019.
Congratulations. So tell me a little bit at the basis about KidMoto. I know when I go on the app or on the website, I could pretty much request any type of car seat that I need from 5 pounds, if my baby is 5 pounds, upwards of 100 pounds. So you basically provide a gamut of not only car seats, but I also see that there's an option to rent strollers as well in your destination.
Yes. So we use convertible car seats by DiOno, and these car seats are incredible. The drivers can harness them for an infant at 5 pounds with an infant insert, and then there is a few different settings, and it goes all the way up to where you can actually have a high back booster seat for a child that is upwards of 60, 70, 80 pounds. And it's all it's all done on the app. The passenger can just input the weight, and the driver will show up with the correct harnessed car seat.
Which is great because a lot of parents I see getting in taxi cabs without a car seat, and which I'm not an advocate of. And I know that there's not a mandate that you have to have a car seat in New York City in the cabs, but I can't imagine driving, especially to the airport where you could be sitting in a lot of traffic without my child in a car seat.
Yes, it's not a good idea. It's unsafe. And when a car is traveling at 50, 60 miles an hour, forget about it. It's terrifying.
Yeah, it really is. And I mean, I think I had a split second of a time where I said to my husband one time, like, let's just go. And he's like, are you kidding me? No way. And he's absolutely right. You just don't. And that's where your service really fills in the gap because, like I said, at least in my experience, I know that there are a few car services that say they offer car seats, but I feel like yours that specifically specializes just in providing transportation with car seats, you really hit the nail on the head and you get it right when it comes to what parents need, because the last thing we need is when we're schlepping our little ones and all of our luggage is to get to the car and find out that there's the wrong car seat. There's no car seat. And so you really got it down.
Exactly. Car services that do market that they provide the car seats. Yes, they may provide the car seats, but it can be a wrong car seat. It could be a recalled car seat. Most of the time, it's a dirty car seat, and most times they just bring the wrong car seat. So you can't have a 10-pound infant and they'll bring you a booster seat. Forget about it. That's not happening. That's
right, exactly. And you mentioned the dirty car seat, and I have to say I had an experience with that too. We got to where we were going, and all of a sudden my daughter started breaking out all over, and I thought, oh my gosh, was it from the car seat? Because the car seat was filthy when we got in the car. But at that point, we had no other choice by then. So where can people go if they want to download the app, go on the website? I know you make the process very easy.
Yeah, so the app is free and it's available globally. It's on the App Store and it's on iOS and Google Play. It's available globally. And you could also go to KidMoto.taxi. That's KidMoto.taxi. And you can download it from the website.
Terrific. Nelson, Nigel, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. And you are my choice for car service whenever I'm going to and from the airport in New York City. And I wish you best of luck in your expansion in the other cities as well.
Fantastic. Thank you, Michelle. Have a great day.
Thank you. You as well. And you're listening to Passport Mommy. I'm Michelle Jerson. And if you're looking for destination ideas other than New York City and to some of the other markets that he's expanding into, some things to do, you can head to my website, passportmommy.com. Next up, we're going to talk to my good friend and comic Marshall Stevenson about judging other parents and their parenting styles. At what point do you start judging? Do you start judging? And we'll talk all about that and all the different types of topics that come up when it comes to parenting.
Passport Mommy with Michelle Jerson. Passport Mommy with Michelle Jerson is a show about the journey of motherhood. Joining you on your greatest adventure, here's Michelle Jerson, the Passport Mommy.
Part of parenting, is getting those looks from other parents or maybe people who aren't even parents who feel like they should tell you how you should be parenting. And for that, I have back on with me Marshall Stevenson, good friend and comic in New York City. And Marshall, you know what I mean, right? Because I know I get these looks. I've gotten comments from random women on the streets. If, let's say, my daughter took off her glove for 30 seconds, she should be wearing her glove. And I just think to myself, wow, really? You're going to tell me how to parent? And I wonder if you encountered this as well.
Well, I do encounter it. I always think they wouldn't be doing this if I were a woman. But,
oh, no, they would be.
But I think it's okay to make a comment. The question is where we draw the line. Because I think if a kid's not wearing gloves, mind your business. If the kid's not wearing a shirt and it's 30 degrees, you should be saying something. So I think it's really interesting, where is that line? Because there's got to be a point. I mean, clearly at a certain point, the state takes over. It's like kid not wearing a shirt, they're going to be living with this other family for a while, your child.
Right. But no, it's true. Even there's a construction site near me, which it's not even near me. It's so far away, but yet you walk past it and you can see it. And this woman stopped me one time and said, you really shouldn't be walking with your child past this. You just never know how dangerous it could be. And I'm thinking, well, thank you for I think I said, thanks for your comment. And I kept going. It's like, at what point, what do you say? But I feel like it goes so much beyond the random comments too. And there's such a thing as mom shaming and parent shaming, where people really get on other parents' cases for the way they feel they're raising their child or disciplining them.
Now, that's an interesting one, because you say it's in front of a construction site. So now, what if this parent, well, I don't even know if this was a parent, this was just a random person who thought she knew better, but right. What if this were somebody who thought that it might not have occurred to you that there are construction dust or potentially falling, steel beams or whatever else, and what she's doing is politely giving you some information you might not have had, and maybe she feels there's no self-righteousness to it. Like maybe the line has something to do with how arrogant you are or what your intentions are. Is it possible that there wasn't really anything wrong with what that woman did? Because it wouldn't have even occurred to me not to take her past construction site in New York,
Right. No, I mean, I understand where that woman was coming from, but then she went on about how worried she is every time she walks past this. Now, mind you, this is tons and tons of people walk past it a day. It's not like we're walking under it or even right next to it. It's pretty far away. And it's very high up. Well, that doesn't matter, but it's far away.
It doesn't matter.
Maybe in her own neurosis, she thought it could be something.
It deemed it safe. It was deemed safe.
Right. So they could look, you never know what's going on in somebody else's mind. But it's the same thing when it comes to parenting. So let's just throw out an example right now, because I know we're dealing with this. So my daughter loves watching Daniel Tiger, and I always was against screen time, but finally at about 18 months, I said it's fine. And first we started to use it to try to distract her while brushing her teeth. Well, now it doesn't work when it comes to brushing her teeth, and she'll push my hands away and she just wants to watch it. And then when teeth are over, she wants to continue watching it. And then she wakes up in the morning and the first thing she asks for is Daniel Tiger. And at what point is too much screen time? And I tend to disagree with my husband. My husband says, oh, it's fine. It's educational. It's no problem. But then I feel, no, there are also studies that say too much time in front of the screen, whether it's a computer, a phone, or TV, is not great for your child's brain development.
Okay. This is a good one, because I let her watch sometimes, and now I can't get her pants on without turning it on. So, so we go through a half an hour TV a day easy. And then a smattering of other times when I just feel like it's just the best, like I need to get her out of there, and it's either wrestling or. But the question is this, to me, is if a parent wants to let their kid watch for an hour, okay, you and I've decided that that's acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
What if they want to let their kid watch at the exclusion of doing anything else, like watching 15 hours a day? Then,
I don't agree with that.
Well, of course not. But then do we have a right to be, at what point, and we can keep going up. Okay, 1 hour is fine. 2 hours, 3 hours. At what point do we have a right to then judge, just like in the example of the gloves versus the shirt? Clearly we'd step in if she were wearing a shirt, it was wintertime.
Mm-hmm.
We'd step in if the kid were in front of the TV all day, an hour. At what point is it okay? I want to know when I can be judgmental.
Look, I think you in your mind can be judgmental whenever you feel like it. Saying it is another story. I think people are going to think what they want all the time and have an opinion about everything, but I don't think anybody has the right to tell any other parent how they should be parenting.
At any point, the kid wasn't wearing a shirt, you don't say, hey, put a shirt on the kid.
Look, you could, if it's something that is going to really affect the kid's physical health that you can outwardly see, sure. If it's something like, hey, don't you think your kid's watching too much TV? You can voice your concern, but I think you have to say it in a way like, hey, are you concerned about this, this, and this? Not, I can't believe you let them watch this much TV.
So it's the way you say it, and also you're allowed to judge anything, but it's what you say.
That's what I think. Because look, parenting is hard enough. We're all doing what we can to do the best that we can. And I think the last thing we need are the dirty looks or the comments from other parents. And if some parent thinks that they're better than another one or has a better solution for dealing with a certain situation, fine. There are ways of saying it.
Okay, so I had an incident, I guess similar to the construction one, where I was having trouble figuring out. My wife bought one of these cozies. I don't know what they're called. These bags for winter time that go in the stroller, and then the straps go through, and then she's sitting in like a sleeping bag or whatever. So anyway, she didn't want to get in the stroller. Mm-hmm. So we're going to the subway. She won't get in the stroller. We're going to get in the stroller. We'll get in the stroller. We'll go in the stroller. Says, okay, I'll get in the stroller. Train's coming. So I start to put her in the stroller, and I realize I don't know how to use a stroller with this thing on.
Right.
So now we're half in the stroller.
Okay.
So I decided, but because the thing is like a sleeping bag, and, it's like you can't get out from the bottom. It's buttoned up.
Right.
And because the thing is attached to the stroller, that there's no logical way that she could come out.
Right. So you decided not to
strap her. Now she gets in. I'm struggling to put her in. She falls asleep.
Mm-hmm.
So now she's in the thing. She's not in it according to the manual.
Right.
But she's in it and asleep.
Right. Mm-hmm.
All right. So now we're wheeling her, and nobody knows the difference because all the mechanisms are inside the sleeping bag thing anyway.
Right.
So we get to this atrium area. We're going to go to a food court. And we get into an elevator, and I meet my cousin, and I'm explaining the story to him, and the woman turns around. And so I say, I really should have strapped her in properly, but she fell asleep, so I figure she can't fall out anyway. It's fine. And she's asleep. And the woman, and I'm explaining it to him, and she's eavesdropping on the conversation. She says, you should wake her and put it together right.
Wow. And was this a young parent? Was it an older woman?
She was younger than I was, maybe late 30s.
Wow.
40s,
wow, she had some nerve.
40s. Maybe, you know what, I'm mischaracterizing it. She didn't say it with that kind of attitude, but she said, you should strap her in. But, you understand what I'm saying, right? It was like the sleeping thing was tied to the thing. And she wasn't coming out. She was sleeping comfortably. I figured if she lived through the subway, she was going to be fine in the food court.
I completely understand because I've gone through the same struggle with her. I cannot get her in the stroller when there's that sleeping bag in. And then for the longest time, I didn't have the straps going through the sleeping bag properly. So I could never really get them on her. They were always too tight. And then finally, when I was able to bring it into a store somewhere and have them show me, she wouldn't get back in and she threw a whole tantrum in the store and wouldn't go back in the stroller. So I get it. That sleeping bag is also the bane of my existence. But she's gotten better with it.
You're a bad parent.
What? We're horrible parents, but we're still good parents because we obviously wanted our daughters to be warm enough for us to put up with this type of, which they call it a bunting thing. There's different names for it, but yeah. Bunting? And I don't know where that name comes from, but.
Well, I don't like the thing. We're totally off the subject. I don't like the thing because I can't fold the stroller up, so I can't get on the bus. Your listeners who are not necessarily from Manhattan are probably not appreciating all our struggles through getting on public transportation.
Right. But it's funny. I feel the pain, and I'm moving to the burbs really soon, and I feel the pain of all those parents who constantly are in and out of the car with the car seat, especially when you have two kids. I feel that's where we have it easier because then you could just put them in the stroller, hoping that they go in and you go. Whereas the car seat, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's similar, but it's in and out every time you go into a store. Or at least here, you can take the stroller in and out and keep going.
Well, that's true.
Yeah. I'm really dreading I'm dreading my move to the burbs for that reason.
Yeah, I'm dreading your move to the burbs, too. How are we going to play with the kids? We're going to miss you.
I know.
We collaborate here. Well, anyway, have you had a situation where you've held your tongue or you've judged something that you've seen but thought it was like it was okay you thought it was a negative way to parent, but you didn't think it rose to the level of stepping in?
Yes. I mean, I think it was at the place where I dropped my daughter off for 2 hours a day. And there was a kid there who was being really obnoxious to her and pulling things away from her and just being really nasty. And the mother wasn't doing anything. And the mother didn't say anything, didn't, try to say to the child, hey, you know what? This girl is much younger than you or anything like that. The kid was being really obnoxious, was much older and bigger than her. And the mom didn't say anything. And I wanted to say something to the mom, like, I had a lot of choice words I wanted to say, and I didn't. And I just managed my daughter and we left. But it's things like that, I do want to say to other parents, like, what are you doing?
I'm not sure that counts, because in that case, it directly affected your daughter. I'm talking about a situation where you walk up and be like, you are pale. You need to put sunscreen on that kid.
Right. I gotcha.
It's like, if this kid was beating up your daughter, of course you have a right to step in. That's not judgmental. That's parenting. Your own kid, because your own kid is involved. Have you ever seen a situation where you're like, he is not letting him do that. I am going to step in. No, I can't. Have you had that moment?
No, I don't think so. Not yet, but I'm sure I will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just want to tell the kid, it's 1 year old, grape soda in the bottle? Really?
Right.
What are you thinking? Why?
Oh, yeah. No, I've definitely seen, yes. There are food choices that I've seen from other parents giving their kids. Oh, absolutely. I have a good friend of mine who we're just very different on what we would give our children and different things and how we might act towards our children. But I've never said anything to her because I feel she does what she wants. That's how she chooses to raise her child. And it's not for me to judge. She could judge maybe that I'm too strict with foods or that I'm too healthy or whatever. I just don't say anything. But anyway, we only have a minute left. There's always so much to talk about when it comes to this, but I think this is an excellent topic. And I would love to hear from people if they've also gone through similar situations where they feel they've been judged or they want to judge somebody else. Do you say anything? And if anybody wants to email me, you can email me at michelle@passportmommy.com. Marshall, thank you. It's always fun, as always.
My pleasure. Always fun, Michelle.
Yep. And so we'll get the girls together soon, and I promise not to judge you for anything that you're doing.
Anymore. Thank you.
You're welcome. Because I know we both work extremely hard when it comes to raising our children, and we all do as parents. And that's why there really is a fine line. Of course, everybody has their opinions, but my vote is keep them to yourself unless they're really affecting the child in question that you're seeing. More coming up in a few.
Passport Mommy with Michelle Jerson. Passport Mommy with Michelle Jerson is a show about the journey of motherhood. Joining you on your greatest adventure, here's Michelle Jerson, the Passport Mommy.
Part of traveling, especially air travel, involves safety. And we want to make sure when we're traveling with our little ones that they are properly strapped into the seats. And especially when you have a little one who's maybe 2 years old or just under 2 years old, and maybe they've either never flown before or they have and they were a lot more subdued the last time they flew. Well, this is where the AmSafe restraint system comes into play. And for that, I have with me Charlie Fussner. He is the business unit manager for AmSafe Restraints. AmSafe is the world leader in aviation restraint technology, and he is responsible for the aircraft seatbelt business and the CARES product. Thank you so much for joining me today, Charlie.
Pleasure to be here, Michelle.
So I've heard so many wonderful things about the restraint system. And I know there was one point where I tried to lug a car seat onto the plane very unsuccessfully. And then once we even had it on, it didn't really fit between our seat and the seat in front of us. There wasn't enough room. And I thought, never again, there has to be another solution. And so now I'm about to travel with my 22-month-old who fits the weight requirements for your product. Tell me a little bit about it.
Well, Michelle, it's a restraint we've devised through the technology that we use here that'll fit easily around a typical economy passenger seat. That restraint, I think, could probably easily fit in your purse. So there's no issue with lugging a car seat on the airplane. The setup is easy. There's a strap you wrap around the back of the seat. You slide your kid through kind of the shoulder restraints, and you attach the actual seat belt that's on the seat through some holes in the bottom of the restraint. You snug it up, and your kid is very secure in the seat.
Yeah, I watched the YouTube video, and it is very easy. You just say hi to the person behind you, right? Because you have to take the tray table down and then wrap it around and put their tray table back up. And then it is really wonderful, and it really keeps your child safe and secure. So if there were to be an emergency, I would never feel safe with the regular seatbelts.
Yeah, it's specifically designed for that size of occupant. It's been through rigorous testing. It's FAA approved. We submitted to them test data. It's certified for use. So it is the safest product on the market today.
Yeah, and it is the only FAA certified child restraint system, correct?
That is correct.
Yeah, I know there are some knockoffs out there, but you definitely don't want to take a chance when it comes to something like that. And so you described how it easily wraps around, and avoiding just having to lug that car seat is huge. And especially if you're a parent who's traveling alone with your child, your capacity to just carry so much, you just can't bring a car seat also.
Well, think about all the other things you're trying to carry with you. On a given trip, are you having to deal with a stroller? All the entertainment you might be trying to bring for your kid along the way. If you don't have a car seat, it makes the trip a lot more pleasurable.
Yeah, I'm planning that now. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, all the entertainment, all the snacks, the change of clothes, the diapers, just everything that has to come onto the plane itself, and to get my child onto that plane without running off into the airport somewhere else. So I think the harness is wonderful. I know so many friends who have used it. I look forward to using it on our flight coming up. Tell me, where can people go for more information and to read more and to maybe watch some videos on the harness?
Like you said, there's YouTube videos for the CARES restraint. We have a website called kidsflysafe.com. We have a lot of information at that website to help you understand the certification we have, testimonials, etc. And it's very easy to order direct from that website, shipped directly to your home.
Perfect. And if somebody is in a rush and they realize, oh my gosh, I'm leaving in a few days, is there expedited shipping?
We can accommodate that.
Perfect. All right. Thank you so much, Charlie Fussner, for joining me today. I'm really looking forward to trying the CARES harness. And I enjoyed checking out the kidsflysafe.com website as well. There's a lot of useful information on there. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Please check in and let us know how it goes.
I absolutely will. Thank you. And again, you can head to my website, passportmommy.com, to listen to this show and any others that you may have missed. You can also follow us on social, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Passport Mommy. Thank you so much for listening today. I hope you have a great rest of the day and enjoy your travels and keep them safe.
Passport Mommy with Michelle Jerson.